This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
It's awful out there. It's miserable. It's miserable out there. Sent the young fella to creche wearing shorts. Just assuming things will get better. His little knees are probably chattering away. His teeth are probably... Hopefully not. And then I put the other one in a velour tracksuit. She's probably fucking roasting. It's hard to know. There's no manual, son. There's no manual, son, when you're raising a child. But there is weather forecasts, and I should have checked, but it's very, very gloomy. And you know what's the worst? We have, hey, not the worst. How lucky am I that I have a driveway? I have a driveway in my house, and I can drive up it, and I park my car there. But there's a big bush, a shrubbery, right beside the passenger or the driver door. And every time I get out, it's like being mauled by a sweaty mosh pit every time I get out of there, which is, which would be cool. But I don't think anyone would really like me. I'd never get a crowd like that. Sweating there for me. No, they'd be sitting at their table, drinking their Rockshore or whatever. I don't know, you fucking freaks drink. I know. I love you so much. And I'm so delighted to be speaking to you. If you are a patron of this podcast, my sincere apologies. Last week, I shit the bed. I thought there was one podcast due out, and there wasn't. So apologies for that. There was thank you for your understanding, my fuck up, and there wasn't one out on the Friday. So apologies for that. I'll get on top of it. You can call me the cowgirl, because whatever. I'll get whatever. He used to know all the positions for sex, And then you try a few and they're like, this is actually fine. This one's probably grand. This one, whatever, I'll tell you what the sexiest position is at the moment, the least amount of gravity I've found is whatever, just, I'm a creaky. Yeah, how are you though? You good? Did you wear a jacket today? Do you have one of those good ones, the rain ones that have kind of like pores? How does it work? Keeps heat. Lets heat out, or keeps heat in and doesn't let it out. Whatever, it's mad what they can do with jackets these days. I just don't want to be talking about sex anymore. So that's why I'm talking about that. But how is it going for you? Are you good? Did you catch the old Aurora Borealis? I didn't. I was tired. I was sitting on my hole, and my phone blew up with everyone outside catching the northern lights. And the conversations have been had. I mean, Terry, my love, we should do sometime. We should book an expedition, when we're maybe a bit more financially secure. Book a big expedition and buy some new big heavy North Face jacket or Canada Goose or whatever, and head out there to as far as you can go. Go out there with probably tinned fish and a bunch of dogs pulling a sled, and get up there and endure, like Shackleton endured, to see those northern lights. And then they were there in the back garden at about 11:30. But I was watching Jurassic World Dominion, and we were talking about how shit it was. And they're like, I think there's northern lights out the back. Couldn't be, So it's mad, the hypocrisy, in theory, I am Ernest Shackleton. I am Sir Edmund Hillary in my mind. But my body couldn't be arsed. My body couldn't be arsed. Getting up and going to the back garden. So I missed that anyway. But, all that you'll regret, whatever. Yeah, you will. You'll regret everything. So that's also an inevitability. It's not like, you'll look back on these days and you'll miss all those grubby fingerprints on the window, And I do kind of get that. I watched Father of the Bride actually last night, so I, kind of get it a little bit. I probably will miss all that. I literally about 3 months ago, like I'm not going to miss that. Probably will miss it, to be honest. Little grubby little fingerprints, because there's a level of low expectations. You're kind of still in a bit of a duvet where you kind of have you can get away with not having your shit together. Be like, oh Jesus, I didn't drink any water today. Got young kids. It's a great excuse for not reaching your full potential. Sorry lads, now I'm gonna have to bail on that little fucking kids. Have a fucking one of them had a sty. Just send it. You want to get immediate sympathy. Send someone a picture of your child with a sty on their eye. It's people are like, Jesus, poor little daughter has a sty. That's my genetics. I get styes. And there's something about Mary. Was it Woogie? Your man who gets the sty, and he gets hives and has all these styes in his eyes, and it's just such a it's shocking, and it's nothing. But acting mad with your eye, people are like, oh fucking hell, go away, go away, get away from me. So I was sending birthday videos to the kids, and I was like, congratulations. I was like, will you say congratulations, to your uncle, and record the video. And then Indy popped her head in. I was like, get that fucking shit out of here. I'm not trying to upset the man here. I'm trying to congratulate him. You didn't make the cut, sweetheart. Right? You didn't make the cut. I love you. All right? I hope this whole eye thing gets better. Put a tea bag on it or whatever that you're supposed to do, Our matey could be something, a tea bag, eye patch wearing pirate might say. But yeah, missed the old Aurora Borealis. You just couldn't be, got up to put I was a bit, we're in from the Bureau de Change Song Contest, which was an amazing night. What a magical night, man. What a magical night. And the greetings, Moldova. We have the points. And there are 12 points go to, if I ever am lucky enough, this is my tier of Eurovision jobs I would like to do, right? In this order. Lowest tier is be the points giver. That'd be low tier. Above that would be maybe be kind of like roving reporter for the Eurovision on behalf of Ireland. Above that would probably be entering the Eurovision. And then, of course, top tier is, coming from Marty Whelan's job when he chooses to abdicate his throne to me to be the voice of the Eurovision. That'll be great. Whenever you want, whenever he's happy to do that, So I'm not, there's no rush on that. But I didn't watch it, of course. Anyway, we had our Bureau de Change. It was a magical night. Thank you, everyone who came. It was brilliant. It's a real fucking pinch me. Is this real moment to go out there on sell out Vicar Street for a bunch of fucking weirdos. Everyone in the lineup, all a bunch of weirdos, so shy little freaks who I love. But they're all, we're all little. It's gonna be shit. I'm shit. It's so endearing to be around. It's the exact opposite of what you would expect kind of cliquey comedy to be. It's not like that at all. The comedy scene in Dublin. Anyway, it's all just a bunch of little. Do you like me? Tick yes in box if so. It's not like, oh, I was out there, fucking killed. You want to see your man out there? He fucking killed. It's not like that. Maybe it is, but I'm not privy to it. I think people acknowledge and respect, give me a little nod for being a little beta cook, simp of a man, and they speak to me accordingly, which I do very much appreciate. But it was a magical night. Came in, didn't watch the Aurora Borealis, but did get up to get near the back garden to grab my phone charger to plug in my phone to order Chinese. So, it's so it's just what, you have your own priorities, and wonder was not one of mine. I was wondering if they deliver fucking chicken rappos at this hour, and they did. So that was, it was good. So I did not watch the Eurovision Song Contest. I was one of the many people who boycotted the thing. Didn't really want, it felt wrong to watch something. Israel made it to the final, and there's a lot of Israeli people who would just want to be able to live life as usual and do not like the genocide of innocent Palestinians. And all love to them and to everyone who was boycotting and piped up and everything. Someone just going out there with the Israeli flag, shaking your tush with a bunch of fireworks, it doesn't seem very seems a little tone deaf to me, given everything. And I appreciate that the Israeli people also had a terrible tragedy that they would love to be able to mourn, and it's a shame that they can't mourn that because of the policies of Benjamin Netanyahu and this absolute fucking disgusting. I don't be fucking getting too heavy on you, but I did boycott it. I was very proud of Bambi Thug. I had said when I was on the Ray Darcy show, I said if they vote for this song in, it could win the Eurovision. Wasn't right about that, but we did come sixth, which is the best result in 25 years. And I'm very grateful for, I have some memories of where I was when various Eurovision acts performed, and where I was in my life, and it's always been a good. I'm normally in a very social environment, and it's normally quite telling as to where I am, who's around me, whether it's in my dad's, my dad's apartment with my brother, my stepmom, my dad, watching, we won in '96 with the, I am the voice of the wind and the pouring rain, or Ryan Dolan, Only Love Survives, when I was, an Irishman living in London, desperate to latch on to any kind of culture and heritage, probably ordering shitty fucking dog shit London Guinnesses, even though I'd never drank Guinness before, watching this neo-Celtic fucking big bombastic incredible performance from Ryan Dolan, one of my favourite Eurovision entries to date. And then with Bambi Thug, what it's going to be is just a reminder that of the blind spot, that I missed it. And hopefully to always keep that that crisis in mind, because I don't see it being resolved really anytime soon. And that's not to be directly resentful towards Israel, but to always have some level of, it'll always carry some level of solidarity with Palestine and the Palestinian people, in as little as that fucking means to anyone that my history of the Eurovision will mean that. But it means something to me. So I'm grateful that, and as well, to go out there and for Bambi Thug to go out there with fucking, old Irish Om scripture on her wrist saying Free Palestine, to fucking jeopardize their performance, which I don't know if you realize, they jeopardized their performance because they were they didn't want to engage in the kind of flag waving ceremony. Felt that to be a bit hypocritical given everything. Didn't want to miss the dress rehearsal as they were pursuing some like legal action against the Israeli broadcaster who had been particularly disparaging of Ireland and Bambi Thug in particular. And then to kind of go out there and say love will conquer hate in the end, which is as tame as a political message as you're allowed to do on the stage, but still, could jeopardize your participation in the contest. So I thought Bambi Thug did us proud, obviously with the performance as well, being probably the best result we've had in 25 years, quarter of a century at the Eurovision, and then to hold himself to such strong character. I don't know why I said it weird like that, but maybe I'm just nervous that I'm being sincere for a second. It was incredible. Didn't see it, and I'm grateful for that blind spot. I'm grateful that it wasn't just go out there, do the performance, kind of toe the line as is expected. Did represent Ireland, not just with the flag, but also with the sentiment that I think the majority of Irish people have, which is this fucking genocide has to stop. So anyway, that was that. Then on Sunday, finally got around to painting that bloody wall. Used a roller for the first time. Still, I'm none the wiser as to whether priming a wall before you paint it means painting it, or if there is an actual liquid called prime. So hit up my pal Logan Paul, got a case of the old fucking candy cane prime, splashed it all over the kip. Paint has not been sticking on it yet, but we'll see. Maybe I just need to do another 9th coat on it. Now I painted it all white. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty fucking. Went out there in a vest, trying to catch the eyes of my wife, who she was busy with the kids. See, this is the thing. And what's so annoying about it is, I went out there, painted the whole fucking wall. Didn't need to swear. Painted the wall. Right. Took ages. Back-breaking labor. Took too long, really, because I was trying to make sure that it was completely white, and masonry walls are a bit porous, so there was a few little spots on there, and Terry just kept shouting, no, you just need to do a rough coat, and then you go over it again, and then you'll get it, and I'm like, no. So I'm there mashing the roller in, used all the paint, 35 litres of paint on a very small wall, because I couldn't bear to have any, but anyway, back-breaking labor. And I go in, and this is the new generation. Go in, be kind of appreciative of the fact that I got to have a bit of time on my own. And now, and again, I love hanging out with the kids, so it was no issue. But see, in our gaff, the policy is, you doff the cap to the person minding the kids, whoever it is, whether it's her, whether it's me, and whatever job you're doing, hey, you probably had a better time, Not that hanging out with the kids isn't a great time. It is. But you can be very full on. You're watching 2 kids, and you're just trying to prevent 2 of them from electrocuting themselves or drinking white spirits. It's you're on when you're off doing whatever you're doing, whether you're cleaning out a toilet, you're off. You're off it. You know what I mean? So it's such a fucking weird dynamic that all these jobs that we would avoid like the plague become this kind of like, oof, nice juicy bit of fucking clearing out the fucking sewage. Sounds pretty sweet right now. I could be down in the sewer fighting the fucking, the Gorgon, the shit demon, lancing it, and have it just suck it in with its putrid shit chest, and smacking me in the face, giving me pink eye constantly. And I'd still have to come back puffy, stinking like shit, and be like, thanks very much, Terry, for watching the kids, And look, if you're toxically male, maybe that sounds not the way it should be. But hey, I fucking dig it. Works the same way. Odd jobs get done, and you come back appreciative of the person who was holding the fort down. But just as it is now, when the kids get a bit older, it's probably not going to be the case. When the kids are just completely entertaining themselves, which we're almost there. That's why a lot of time. You go, people get gaffs or whatever now. You get to our age. Some friends are lucky enough to get gaffs. Or you just might be in someone's gaff and maybe they're a bit handy and they're good with their hands. And they're like, see that there, kind of tore all that out myself. Put the kitchen in, kind of tiled it one by one. Did the grouting. We weren't mad on the colour, so I kind of went in it and did it black. Installed the new sink. I'm not great at plumbing, but did that myself. Kind of put an outdoor plug there. We built this little she-bean, and you're like, oh wow, oh amazing, cool. And I just want to be like, who's watching the kids? Oh, she was, and then just immediately drop all my kudos. I walk over to the wife. It was fucking amazing what you did, and you watched them for what, 8 hours? Oh my god! And what did you like? Was it hard? What did you do to like entertain them? It was you didn't watch any TV. What? Are you fucking kidding me? That's incredible. And what, you made up like a little game? We kind of froze some dinosaurs and some ice cubes and, put them in a little tough tray, and the kids were kind of smashing them with a hammer or whatever, I was like, wow. Meanwhile the dad's there with us, And, then I was painting it myself, and I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up over there. Shut the fuck up over there. I'm chatting to a hero. A real human being. Maybe that's not how everyone does it. But when you have two parents kind of working full time, I mean, this is the thing, the kind of stay-at-home moms, you know, I want to bend the knee. You can call me Jon Snow, because these women, they're unmounting their fucking dragons. And I just want to, I bend the knee. For Winterfell. For Winterfell, my queen. It's a tough job. I get it now. You know, I remember always seeing those comedians being like, you know, what do you do for a living? You're a stay-at-home mother? No, hang on. That's the toughest job in the world. That's the toughest job in the world. And they were like, yeah. I'm like, all right, you fucking suck up. But now, it is not, you know, they're totally right. They're totally right. Especially if they do it well. If they do it okay, that's still fucking, hey, Purple Heart. You can call her Jack Reacher. Me and Jordan always laugh because we watched, when we were really high in our old shitty apartment, we'd watch Jack Reacher all the time. And we'd like drink every time they said the name Jack Reacher. It'd be fucking steamed. 18 minutes. You had to drink every time they say Jack Reacher, and you had to drink, this is in the movies, and you had to drink every time they credit him with something. Where it's like, we're talking about a guy with 8 Purple Hearts. We're talking about a guy got the freedom of the city for Chicago for taking out 9 terrorists. We're talking about Jack Reacher. Well, hang on, are you talking about Jack Reacher? Well, there's one guy we could bring in. He's a bit of a rebel. He doesn't have, anything descriptive about him when he's not in the room. Any kind of, credit you give him, anytime to say the name, and you'd be fucking steamed. You'd be so steamed, you end up giving your straight friends a Jack Reacher round, because you're so suggestible from all the booze from watching Jack Reacher playing the Jack Reacher drinking game. But yeah, painted the wall anyway. It looks pretty good. Going to go over it now. A nice little cream finish. The grass is fucking destroyed. I don't know what it was. Just something about... I just kind of feel like outdoors is not the same as carpet. But there's a lot of... I tell you. I was painting over it and then... painting over a big thick fucking brush. And then I'd see a fucking woodlouse trying to get out. And I'm like, oh my God, I have ruined this woodlouse. I mean, it's dead. It's going to die. This woodlouse. I've covered it in paint. And I was dusting and everything beforehand. I'm like, oh my God. Don't mind the idea. Sometimes, I'm sure you've had this image in your mind of what ants must see. Or a snail must see before you accidentally trod on one or it breaks your heart. But to be looking up and to see something the fucking size of Galactus coming at you with a paintbrush. And you're like, no! Heartbreaking. Just covered in paint. Looking like fucking Harry and Marv from Home Alone 2 for the rest of his life. His short life. Imagine trying to be inconspicuous, painted fucking brilliant white, crawling through the grass. It's not going to happen. And then the birdies are going to get sick because they're not supposed to eat the paint. But, it's definitely not helping the wood lice disappear, for sure. But, yeah, painted it anyway. I've nothing else to say about it, but I want to talk about it one more time. My brother-in-law always slags me because, if we ever at like a barbecue or whatever, and if I'm driving, he's like, he'll always come over to me being like, oh my God, you must be drinking. I'm like, why? Because when you're not drinking, you've said it about like 9 times to everyone. You've said that you're on the non-alcoholics, normally with your chest kind of fleshed out like that, I'm on the old Guinness Zero, guys, So it's kind of a running joke now. Because nothing subtle about me, boy. Nothing subtle about me. I haven't been to see the Portal yet, the old Stargate SG-1. Let's hope a load of Tuvoks don't come in. That's not a racial thing. It's a character from... It's actually your man who... Not Tuvok. That's your man from fucking Voyager. What's the name of your man? He was Kratos. Christopher Judge played him. He had a little lovely gold coin in his head. That always looked delicious. Stargate SG-1. The SG stands for Stargate. So, it's kind of just Stargate 1. We got fucking Johnny 2 times in here. Going to go watch Stargate 1. Going to go get the papers and watch Stargate 1. A handful of people might know what I'm talking about. But I haven't gone to see the Portal yet. I'm just wondering, is there any way we can we can exploit or whatever, to have like an instant camera Can we, maybe spoil goals or whatever before they happen because of the lag? And the lag's probably better in a football match. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Is there anything we can do to be like, just to let you know it's going to get dark soon? I don't know. It's a mad piece of technology. Considering, the old Irish, he went to New York, went to America. Well, I've not seen him since he went to America. He went to New York to make something of himself. He's fighting for the Yanks on the front line. And now we're just like, woo! Woo! Hello! Like, not optimizing this technology at all. Woo! It's just, it's mad. I mean, I'm so bad at texting people. If it was a thing where someone had gone, and that's the thing that happens sometimes. Mates are like, and it's tough. It's tough. We had a mate who was going to be moving very far away recently, and he was telling us, and he's like, we're going to buy a gaff out there, and we're like, wee, but we're also like, I'm never going to see you again. Like, I'm never going to see you again. Like, I love you so much, but I know what we're like, and I'm never going to, this is the end of it, Like, it's almost like someone moving away to Australia or whatever, and we're like, we're going to, live over there. Well, we'll come visit, and it's like, yeah. Like, can we not actually just have the funeral now? Do you know what I mean? Can we not just have it like, instead of acting like this is just a going away party and see you soon, can we not just actually have the proper funeral where we all get up and we all say what we, like friends of mine are having kids, if we should have a similar thing, like I'm going to see you 99.99% less, and I'll see you and it'll be great. And we'll, whenever we see each other and we'll go for pints or whatever, it'll be like, like nothing ever happened. I'll see you at the Stags if there's any of them left. I'll see you at all these things. Anything big, we'll make the trek the odd time. But it's going to seriously, by quite a margin, lower how much I'm gonna get to see you. So can we not have like a proper wake? You know what I mean? Not in any kind of like extremely sad way, but maybe have a bit of reception where we talk about what we like about you. We talk about going to the pub, have sandwiches on a tray. Everyone dress up in the suit and all that. If you want to lie in a casket or whatever, you can, or I don't mind. That's fine. But can we not do something proper for it? Even Shane was saying on the podcast, on the Young Hot Guys podcast, it's quite sad to see young people who are like, we're gonna be proper vitamin C shit, we will still be friends forever. I'm like, yeah, and I suppose you kind of are. I suppose now I do talk to my friends more than I ever have, or any generation ever has. But it's then Terry be like, oh, were you chatting to so and so? Yeah, I can't talk to him every day on the group chat or whatever. And like, how's he getting on? Is he, how's the job? Being like, I don't know, he's excited about the Euros and he had a pretty good horse. Well, no, he recommended a horse at the races there. Didn't win. I don't know what he does. I don't even know what his surname is. But we're very close and we talk every day. So yeah, it's kind of, it's hard to know. Who knows what's better? But if someone was heading off to Australia or America, I'm not, not writing the letter. Just, yeah, it's tough. I mean, we'd have less distraction, like letter writing isn't competing with email, it's competing with TikTok, it's competing with emails, it's competing with Spotify, it's competing with your attention span at all times. It's and there's no, you write the letter, put it in an envelope, where's that sweet dopamine? I don't even have, like, when you send the letter down and the letter's coming back, are you able to like follow it on a map? Are you able to, is there an app to show you exactly when you're getting the letter? Because that's kind of what my brain's used to, getting a little, almost here. Nice cheeky bit of dopamine there. You know, the idea of like I might just get a little bit of a surprise out of the blue. My brain chemistry is just completely changed now. You know, it's not going to work for me. Or I'm a piece of shit, and other people are way better at correspondence and keeping in touch with people, you know, than I am. But you know, everyone's still in my heart. Or this is like a phase. You know, it's probably just a phase now where the kids just require more attention. Jesus, if you ever go back and listen to those podcasts when I first had a kid, I mean, you're hearing a man, you're hearing a child, you know, crumbling with his lack of independence. You're hearing a man who's convinced he has postpartum depression from the zero hormones that have changed from not giving birth, you know. But it's so you know you're still kind of in the glorious thick of it for years. But I mean, I'm sure when it's just kind of like, hey, those kids fucking put themselves to bed, you know. Daddy's going out to a wrestling match at 6 p.m. How do you like them apples? And you're not allowed to come. But I also think it would be better if you would actually all be much better if you were there. I love you so much, my darling kids. But you know, it's just there. It's on the horizon. The unfortunate thing is your metabolism doesn't kind of keep up with that. I should have had kids when I was like 21. So then they're out of the thick of it when I'm like 27. And I still got about 4 years of good metabolism. You know, hitting the pints, hitting the sauce. Like Terry was saying there, because I was a little bit hungover after the Bureau de Change, and so was she. And we're just like, this is tough, you know. It's mad just how much tougher hangovers are as you get older. But it's also because, you know, you've got so much shit to do then the day after. It's hard to tell. I mean, previously, I couldn't tell you if I was consistently hungover in my 20s. You know, and it was hard to know. It was hard to know whether that was inhibiting my life because my life was just playing GTA. Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, you know, I can normally make that stunt jump when I'm not hungover. That's weird. Anyway, I'm just going to go back to being depressed. I'm just going to go back to not thinking like like everyone has something that I don't have, and the whole world has turned and left me here. To quote a Weezer lyric, I'm just going to go back to thinking that. But probably was, you know what I mean? Probably was is kind of, and that's what's annoying is, it's when your whole state of being is kind of being in a wrapped up little FOMO duvet. It's you know, that's the only thing you know, and so then you just have good days, but now it's kind of like you just have days and you have bad days, you know, when you don't drink as much. So yeah, it's hard to know. Wouldn't mind some of that sweet metabolism. Got a stag coming up, very much looking forward to it. You know, already kind of thinking it through. We did the Limerick Dolans, and I had a good few drinks after because I was staying down there. Didn't have to drive back to Dublin, and I was like, I need to fucking moderate myself. And so I said to Jordan, I was like, I'm going to draw 4 kind of heart containers on my hand, like in Zelda, and I'm just going to color each one in after each pint that I have. And Jordan was just like, not that I don't believe in you, but you're just, you know, you are just kind of going to do whatever you're going to do. So maybe don't add to that failing that you didn't do what you were going to do. And I'm like, all right, yeah, fair. Yeah, let's maybe go guilt-free on this one, you know? But, I mean, I'm going now. I'll be going to this stag now with probably a little, you know, a little Jason Bourne go bag full of shit. Like Killian thought that, and he mentioned it on the podcast, we went down to Galway to shoot something for a sponsored thing, and I had in my bag because I hadn't been out since Indy was born, and so I had a big bag full of fucking first aid shit. I had like paracetamol, Imodium, like bought it all on the way to heading down to Galway, you know, and yeah, so like, you know, he was like, wow, I guess this is what he's like all the time. He's got that serious fucking dad bag kind of shit. I'm like, this is a brand new thing. This whole idea of self-care, or even creaky maintenance. Who are we fucking kidding? Maintenance to make sure that I don't want to drive this car off the road, in the morning, Anyway, got Sonny's birthday coming up. It's going to be 4. And Morty kind of like, I have to kind of act like because we are, we're a sustainable household, in theory, for the most part. And it's just going to be like a sea of plastic. But to be honest, for fucking, between me and you, I can't fucking wait to see what fucking toys he gets. My cousin Omar is going to get him a little Transformer, a little Optimus Prime. I'm like, I can't fucking wait for that. He's like, do you think Sonny would like that? I'm like, yeah, because I want to play with it. So it's exactly what, Terry's, and to be fair to her, he doesn't play with these things. He'll play with that probably because it's kind of one piece, but like a set where missing pieces can go, can go walk about. Imagination games, literally give him a mask, not the mask, of course. We don't exactly want a Jamie Kennedy, son of the mask, palava happening in the gaff. Don't want him running around being like, somebody stop me, running up me and giving me a big wet kiss with his giant cartoon lips and smacking me in the face. We don't want that kind of situation, but like a character mask, Iron Man or whatever, Captain America, Hulk, he'd love that shit. He likes make-believe, imagination games more than that. Those are the things that kind of, the idea of pretending that these figurines are actually people. He doesn't really have that he doesn't have that third-person view of, this is, shaking a Luke Skywalker at Spider-Man being like, hey, do you want to, do you want to learn how to use a lightsaber or whatever? Spider-Man be like, no. He's not best for the yes-anding, He doesn't like peril and he doesn't like turmoil. So, if there's any kind of, he wants the characters, everything to be going right for them the whole time, and there to be no looming threat, and for all threats to be resolved and all of the baddies to have a come to Jesus moment at the end, and they apologize and return the safe to the bank or whatever. And it's mad that kind of like, if we're playing superheroes and I'm trying to come up with what are the crimes that a baddie could have done, it's normally robbing a bank, which I want to fucking talk to him about Anglo-Irish. You want to talk about actual fucking thievery in the banking industry. Son, I know we're having a bit of fun here, and we're playing with this safe, and we're pretending like Green Goblin's after strapping it to his goblin glider and taking off with it, right? But can I hold your attention just for 15 minutes while I tell you about Anglo-Irish and the biggest fucking scam they pulled off in this country? Would that be okay if I told you that? Or, it may be a scenario where there's a bunch of bankers about to sign put their signature on approval for bonuses, and Spider-Man comes in and webs the pen. What's some wanking joke you can make? I normally wait for a free gaff before I have a bank. They'd be like, what? Shut up. Web them up. Bring them straight to fucking Officer Morales. Miles Morales was that his name? Was he Morales? Or was his ma Morales? Whatever. Might try one of them tonight. Just see how it floats his boat. Just kind of like, corporate crime. Maybe. Might be the show. Maybe it's, he'd be like, Daddy, who's the baddie? And I'm like, well, it's going to be the Taoiseach, right? Who alleges he doesn't have a bank account, even though he was the Minister for Finance for years. And we're going to catch him in the middle of a bribe. And he'd be like, oh my God, Spider-Man. Oh my God, Spider-Man. I haven't done Bertie Ahern in a while. Something like that, Anyway, I'll figure it out. But anyway, look, I do love you very much, and thanks very much for listening to this pod. And again, thank you for your understanding. No, who are we kidding? I'm fucking sorry I didn't get the podcast out on Friday. But I tell you, 99.99% of the time I do. And if you want to listen to those podcasts, you can do so over on Head Stuff Plus, where every single week, for the price of a pint, you can listen to an extra podcast and be updated as to upcoming gigs, get priority gigs. In fact, there's some gigs that are only ever put up, live podcasts that are done for patrons, people who support the podcast over there. So there's a lot of benefits. There's also an entire backlog of what is it now? 4 years of podcasts that you can listen to over there on Head Stuff Plus if you haven't listened to any of those already. And look, thanks very much for listening to this podcast. I love you. Put on a good jacket. All the best. Bye-bye.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.